Hello everyone. Now you will hear a brief retelling of the movie Mask. The film is based on real events. Rocky Dennis is a 16-year-old boy suffering from an incurable bone disease, which makes his face twice as large as that of other people. Rocky's mother, Florence, is a biker who leads a reckless lifestyle. The biker gang helped him settle into a new school. All the children stare at the unusual boy. Florence intends to enroll her son in the 9th grade, but the principal resists, claiming that such a student requires special conditions. However, apart from his unusual appearance, Rocky is no different from his peers. At his previous school, he was one of the best students. Doctors constantly measure Rocky's head. In just a few months, his lower jaw grew by half a centimeter. Craniometaphyseal dysplasia is a rare disease that occurs in 1 case out of 22 million. Calcium rapidly accumulates on the surface of the skull. This disease is also known as the lion mask. Because of it, Rocky suffers from constant headaches. The doctor tells Florence that plastic surgery is impossible as long as calcium keeps depositing. The skull keeps growing and pressing on the spinal cord. According to his prognosis, Rocky will live only another 3 to 6 months. But Florence refuses to listen. First, they told her her son would be mentally challenged, then that he would be blind and deaf. She is tired of burying her boy in her mind every time. After hearing such predictions from yet another specialist, for Rocky, bikers are a big, nosy family. Florence's friend is also raising a teenage son, but at least she knows where the boy's father is. Rocky collects baseball cards and dreams of traveling across Europe on a bike with his friend Ben. At one biker rally, a tough biker named Gar shows up. Is he Rocky's father? No. I was married to Rocky's father before. Gar is an old friend of Florence. He gave her son a butterfly knife. Apparently, something once happened between him and Florence, but that night, Florence brought home another lover. The next morning was Rocky's first day at the new school. I don't want to go, Mom. Then don't. I have to. Then go. Rocky doesn't want the kids to scatter again when they see him. A huge biker gives him a ride to school and immediately beats up the boys who dared to make fun of his friend. Rocky takes his seat in the classroom. The teacher introduces two new students. While everyone welcomes the girl, the class falls into dead silence when Rocky is introduced. Fortunately, Rocky's humor and optimism help him cope with the mockery. He remembers not only the lock combination for his own locker, but also for his neighbors, so he helps out when the blonde boy forgets the code. On Halloween, Florence throws a party at her house. She has a new man, but still keeps glancing at Gar. He comes again with a gift, a map of Europe, so Rocky can plan his future trip. The boy dreams of visiting every country he has read about. Thanks to his intelligence and charm, Rocky soon wins the respect of his classmates. His neighbor asks him for help with algebra. Rocky charges $3 an hour and begins earning a little money. But Florence spends more and more time away from home, ignoring her son. Rocky senses she's angry with him for something. When she refuses to stay home again, he loses his temper and smashes dishes. Florence is outraged that her son has filled the house with anti-drug leaflets. Rocky hates that she's always high and ruining her life. In anger, Florence rips up one of his baseball cards and slaps him across the face. That night, Rocky suffers from a terrible headache. Florence sits beside him to distract him and asks him to tell her about his dream trip across Europe with Ben. Talking about his plans helps him fall asleep. By morning, the pain is gone. Mother and son reconcile, asking each other for forgiveness. Rocky says he worries about his mom. What if she overdoses one day? Florence promises him she will quit drugs. Bikers take Rocky and Florence to an amusement park. Florence is happy to see her son laughing and having fun with her friends. A dealer tries to sell her pills, but she remembers her promise. In the House of Horrors, she finally kisses Gar passionately, something they had both wanted for a long time. Meanwhile, Rocky looks in a funhouse mirror and sees the reflection of a boy with an almost normal face. That night, Gar stays at their house, and for the first time Rocky is even glad. Rocky starts noticing a pretty classmate. She asks if he'll go to prom, but he doesn't know yet. The principal suggests he work at a summer camp for blind children as a counselor. Rocky hesitates. He worries about leaving his mother alone. He even discusses girls with Florence. Maybe it's time to find a plastic surgeon, but his mother says to wait. The skull will keep growing for another 2 years. Upset, Rocky goes to his room. Florence also breaks down and goes to her dealer. Then she hires a prostitute to visit Rocky. The boy is shocked when he sees the girl, Lori. She is 19 and charges only $25. But instead of sleeping together, they talk all night. Rocky refuses her services. He wants his first time to be out of love. In the morning, he makes her breakfast and asks Car to drive her to the bus stop. Rocky is furious with his mother. Does she really think no girl could ever like him unless she was paid? Later, bikers pitch in to buy Rocky a suit for prom. At graduation, he receives many awards for outstanding knowledge in several subjects. Still, he feels he'll never be able to be with the beautiful classmate he likes. Florence's parents visit. Grandma starts cleaning. Grandpa gives Rocky a rare baseball card, but he constantly mocks Florence for not living a normal life. Afterward, he takes Rocky to a baseball game. Florence, hurt and angry, takes more drugs and fights with Gar, who finally decides to leave. Seeing his mother in that state, Rocky is devastated. His grandparents leave. Florence breaks her promise, and Rocky decides to go to the camp to escape. Who will look after things? He asks. You will, Mom. You'll look after everything including yourself. At camp, Rocky meets a blind girl, Diana. He tells her she looks like Alice in Wonderland. She asks him to describe things around them. Though blind from birth, she enjoys his descriptions. He compares blue to a cold stone, red to a hot potato, and calls her face beautiful. They fall for each other. At a dance, Diana asks Rocky to kiss her, but soon her parents arrive and, shocked by his appearance, take her away. Diana asks him to call her. She wants another kiss, but is too shy in front of her parents. Back home, Rocky calls her, but her mother always answers and says Diane isn't home. His friend Ben also leaves town for good. Rocky feels abandoned by everyone. At school, he no longer jokes and mocked. He lashes out violently. Finally, he travels to Diana's town and finds her at the stables. She is happy to hear his voice again. She explains her parents blocked their contact and that she is soon leaving for a special school for the blind. They kiss goodbye. Rocky's headaches return. One night, he takes the pins out of his Europe map, realizing he will never travel anywhere. Even in his sleep, he repeats that he is in pain. Florence wakes up late, thinking her son is at school, but receives a call he never arrived. She goes to his room and finds him cold and lifeless in bed. She begs him to wake up, but he no longer hears her. In despair, she trashes the kitchen, then returns and hugs her son. She takes the map and places pins in the cities Rocky dreamed of visiting, saying, "Now you can go wherever you want." A year later, his grave is visited by his closest loved ones. Rocky Dennis was only 16 years old.